Hey family, welcome back to the Black and Wild podcast, the podcast created to tell the stories of going against the grain to create the life of your wildest dreams. And on this show, I'm challenging the social norms of what it means to be successful, black, and free. I'm so excited to have you here today because we're talking about something that's been a game changer for me recently. And now that we are officially in the last 75 days of 2024, I believe it can be a game changer for you as well. So grab your coffee, your tea, or whatever makes you feel cozy because today's episode is all about navigating your winter arc, those last 75 days leading up to 2025. We're going to break free from the overwhelm, get focused, and really start creating the life that we want. So let's get into it. So recently I've been hearing a lot about winter arcs, right? If you've been on YouTube, you know that it's everywhere. And I personally like the title, right? Because this last quarter of the year has always been the reset time for me. A lot of people wait till January 1st, but I try not to. I like to get to it early so that when January comes around, I'm already in a new routine or at least on the road to where I need to be. But what happens when that's what you want to do? That's your intentions of like having that reset, but you feel like you're so overwhelmed with things that you need to do that it's hard to even find time to start working on things that are specifically for you and your growth, right? Because that time needs to be spent doing the things that you're already behind on, you're already feeling overwhelmed on. Well, that's recently how I've been feeling. A few weeks back, I was just like attempting to reset, but really struggling to do so because there was always these things playing in the back of my mind of like this to-do list of things that I need to get done. And just anytime I was involved in something, I could never really fully be present and focused because I'm always thinking about what I have to do next. And it was starting to really wear me down. I was starting to feel burnt out. So I know that when you're feeling like you're overwhelmed with things, it makes it harder to start thinking about how to make changes in your life because you have things you have to get done first. So one of the things that I started doing is creating a all the things list, right? I call it the all the things list because it's just like I take a sheet of paper. Lately I've been doing it in my journal, but when I first did this, I just took a sheet of paper, a pen, and just wrote down everything all the tasks, all the things that I needed to do, appointments I needed to make, people I needed to talk to, errands I needed to run that I've been, behind on or putting off to the side. So I just made a list of everything, every little thing. And just doing that alone helped me to feel less stress, less overwhelmed, and really clear my head, right? Make mental space for other things that I wanted to do in order, not even other things I want to do, but just make room to be present. So now I had a whole list of things that I needed to get done. And that in itself could also be overwhelming. Now that it's out of your head, you might have some mental clarity, but now you have a list of all these things. So in order for that not to overwhelm me, I chose to just focus on three things. When I could see it as a list, when I could see it all out there, I could see what was more important, more urgent, and I focused on those things first. And I just focused on three tasks at a time, the most urgent and important things. I would highlight the three items that I was going to focus on. And as I crossed out one, I would highlight another new item. This is not about getting as much done in a day. It's really about focusing on the three tasks. And you could do the three tasks, and if you feel like you've done enough for the day, you leave the rest for the next day. But if you feel like you still have some energy, some capacity to do another task that may not be as heavy a lift, then by all means, go ahead and do that. But I try to keep it to the three tasks and not get myself stressed out about it. So every time I finished a task, I could just like relax and then spend the rest of the day doing other things. And sometimes some of those tasks took multiple days. I would say in the time that I've been doing this, and it's been about 3 weeks, I'm about to start a fourth week of doing this. So almost a month of doing this. I have executed so much in this past month. I cannot believe, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't even think I would be able to get through half of the things that have been in my head to do. And just by making the list, I've been able to like really start to get stuff done. And that's a really good feeling, just to know like it's all finished and through. And now the things on my list are not all urgent and important anymore, right? When you're in that overwhelm, everything feels urgent and important. Everything, right? But as you go through the things, as you go through the list and start to check off things off your list, things feel less urgent. And you may still have some important things on there, but they don't need to be done today. And that's nice because it leaves room for me to actually spend more quality time with my children, like quality. Most of you who have watched any of my videos, you know that I'm a homeschooler. I also work from home, also a single parent. You may wonder how it's done. That's for another video. But that in itself, just dealing with all of those things can feel overwhelming. And despite being a homeschooler and teaching my kids every day, I did feel like our time was getting less quality. It was all about, okay, we got to get this done. Okay, this is what we have to do today. And we just got to, it was just more about getting things done and not about, I wasn't really getting the benefits of why I even chose to homeschool, which was actually getting more quality time with my kids and actually making learning more interesting and fun, and not just checking things off a to-do list, right? Because they could go to school and just get tasks done. It's been very helpful and just allowing me to see space for other things. And even though I focused on those 3 tasks, at a time, I found that some of those smaller tasks that just was being pushed to the back burner or being forgotten about actually got done in the in-between times. You know what I mean? Like making that Target run and picking up some vitamins that I know I need to do, but I keep forgetting because there's so many things going on in my head, right? Things like that just started to get done because I had it written down and I could see it, and I would, okay, now that I've finished this task and I have some time, I have some free time, let me go make a Target run, Maybe I can go to Target today. Maybe I can, run to, Costco or BJ's today, right? There's so many things that just got done that I didn't even plan for it to get done that day, but the space just opened up. And you'll find that happens when you create that all the things list. Another thing that I did with the list, as I'm thinking about like the winter arc and really wanting to make transformation during these last 75 days of the year, if you're watching this video, was to create a theme for what I wanted to achieve in the course of this last quarter. And I didn't just pull that from anywhere. That was very much based on the list. So after writing the list out and looking at it, looking at everything, I just started to see a common theme amongst it. And really for me, the theme was really to declutter. I just felt like my brain just felt overwhelmed with a lot because everything was just so jumbled up. I needed more organization. I needed more, I needed to get rid of stuff. I was just in this phase where it's just like, it's time to get rid of everything. I've been going through closets now and, getting rid of old stuff. My kids are getting older. There's a bunch of stuff that they no longer need that are just piling up in my apartment, and I need to get rid of those things too. So I feel like this is a perfect time as I prepare for the holidays and all those things. Like, let's do a fall clean out and just like get rid of all the clutter. And not just in my space, but as in my life as well. Not just in the space that I live in, but in my mindset as well. So my theme has been about decluttering, so that I can have space for the things that I'm really interested in doing. And I think about how that also will affect our homeschool experience, in that I want my kids to be able to focus on things that they're interested in as well, and learning through their interests. So I've had more time to read. I've taken my kids to the library, which I hadn't done in a while, which is crazy because we used to go to the library all the time, and it just felt like a thing I couldn't do because I had too many things to do around the house, and those things weren't getting done, so we never got a chance to go. And we got to spend the afternoon in the library without me having to think about what else I had to get done, and that was so nice. That felt so good to be able to do that with them. And I feel lighter. I feel happier. Even me being able to make this video, you have no idea how long I've been wanting to get back to my podcast, get back to creating videos on YouTube, and not really feeling like I had the time or the space. So it's like, okay, once I get these things done, then I can focus on YouTube and or focus on the podcast. And that time just wasn't coming around because it just felt like things weren't really getting done in the time that I wanted it to. So that's what I would say. So I would encourage you to make your all the things list as well. I would encourage you to create a theme from your list. And I would also encourage you to implement some self-care in there as well, right? Because a lot of times when we're overwhelmed, the first thing to take a back seat is taking care of ourselves. And you don't want that, not in this final 75 days, not in this final quarter of the year as you're trying to execute and have a transformation and shift your mindset in this last quarter. Self-care is necessary. So some of the things that I would do is just like after I've gotten done with the day, spending time reading a book, watching a movie, taking a bath. Like I even have started romanticizing those tasks that I'm doing, rather than it just being a regular task of, planning meals for the week or going to the grocery store. I make a bigger deal out of it. Getting some exercise in, I make sure I have everything laid out. I have some cute outfits for my workout sessions. And that's a new thing too, because I've been wanting to get in shape. I've been wanting to focus on my wellness and fitness and not feeling like I had time to do it. And recently there was a fitness challenge that came up that I wanted to participate in, and I was just like, oh, I don't know if I'm able to have time to do this. But I decided that I was going to commit to it. It was at the start of me doing the all the things list, so I was still getting used to things, and things were just starting to get checked off my list. So I was like, oh, do I want to add a new thing that I have to commit 6 weeks to? And I said, you know what? No, I'm going to add this because this is something, this is about taking care of myself. And this is a way that I can take care of myself while I'm still executing these things. And so this week was the first week of that challenge, and I feel so good. Like I've been eating well. I have been I've exercised 4 times this week, which is, it's been a long time since I've done 4 workouts in a week. So I'm very proud of myself for that. And, I don't feel overwhelmed anymore. I don't feel stressed out. I feel good when I go to do my workouts. I feel like I have carved out the time for this, and it feels good to still have things to do. My list is still the list. It's still all the things on that list, and there's still things getting added on because life is still happening and there's still things that need to get done. But having them all out and seeing everything at a glance, I think that has really helped me like really make a transformation. And I don't think a weekly, planner or a daily planner would have been as effective. I think that I really just needed to get it all out and clear my head and like start to tackle each one more aggressively without thinking like, oh, I gotta remember to do that. Let me yeah, I know I'm doing this, but let me not forget I have this to do. Like it's just easier to focus. Yeah, I think that's the word I'm looking for. It's easier to focus on the things that you need to do, because before I just felt like I was doing a lot of things but nothing was really getting done. And in these weeks I have been really making things happen, and I'm so happy about it. There's something that I'm still on my list, as I'm going through the things, but like I've recently been studying for a certification, and I have been delayed in submitting my application, and the application has to go through approval, and you could be rejected and all these things. And I was so nervous about that, and I was just like, I need to get this application in, but I don't even know when am I going to have time to sit down and write like 2,000 words to submit this application. And I was able to do that. During these weeks and really submit my application and have it be approved, which I'm so excited about. I thought I'll talk more about this because I don't want to give too much away right now, because I still haven't taken an exam, and your girl still has to study and pass that exam, which is a thing on my list, right? Studying for this exam and actually taking this exam. So I'll talk more about that as I'm creating more episodes for the podcast. It's just I'm so happy with where things stand right now. And if this is what I've been able to do in the past 3 weeks, I can't imagine what I'll be able to do before January. And so we are now in the last 75 days. I want to encourage you to do the same thing. If you are feeling overwhelmed, this might be a way to help you get through that and removing that stress and overwhelm and prevent you burning out from feeling like you have so much to do. I think this might be an easier way to tackle it all. And when you get that list down, when you write everything down on that list, don't let that list overwhelm you. It's going to be a lot of things because your mind has been jumbled with a bunch of stuff. It's going to feel like a long list, and it's going to feel like, how am I going to get it done? Do not focus on the entire list. I think it's very, very, one of the best things I could have done was to focus on 3 things at a time and just focus on those top 3. Get those done, pick a new 3 on your list, and execute on that. And make sure to make it fun wherever you can. Make sure that you are taking time to take care of yourself and that you have a vision in mind, a theme that aligns with where you want to see your life go in 2025. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope that this was useful to you, and I hope that you have a successful last 75 days of the year. It's time to go hard, not hustle, but really execute, like in a focused, smart way, and start to create that life that you want to see in 2025. So leave your comments below on what your theme is from your list. Once you create your list, I want to hear your theme and what you are focusing on for these last 75 days, and really what you want your life to look like next year, what you want to have gotten done. And I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys in the next one.